Hi, Smurfette. Hi. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry, Smurfette. I just accidentally swiped off. Okay. Hi, Ben. Oh, thank you, Ben. It's out of necessity. Have fun at putt-putt. Have fun at putt-putt, Smurfette. I haven't played putt-putt probably since I was a teenager. Thank you, Ben. I'm I'm better. I'm some better. Well, thank you there, Dan. What does that say? I can't even see. But anyway, I decided, well, I am able to sit up on the sofa for a little while. I don't feel great, but I feel better than I feel better than I did yesterday and last night. Yeah, I'm still stuffy, but well, I'm sorry to hear that, Richard. Or I can't. Richie. Yeah, I still have congestion, but the worst thing that I have, I don't know if you guys saw the promo, but where did that go? I thought I laid it here somewhere. No, I tested positive for COVID. I I got really bad last night, and I've been sick since Monday night. Yeah. And I started getting sick Monday night, and um then I don't know what that means. Canadian smog, but I don't know what that means, James. But anyway, last night I started having really bad chest pain, like more like down my back, not like from my heart, but down my like from my shoulder blades down, and it really was painful. I was in a lot of pain, and it started about 10 o'clock last night, and I thought, well, I'm gonna give it some time, and I checked my oxygen level. My oxygen level was like 98 and 99, and what it actually felt like to me, what it reminded me of, and I know I was very young when I had a blood clot in my lung. When I was 22 years old, I had a massive blood clot, maybe 23. Massive blood clot in my lung. I was in the hospital for 2 months. But I was in a lot of pain before they finally admitted me to the hospital. And I will never forget what that pain felt like. And that's actually, hi Junior, that's actually what it felt like, but I knew that's not what it was. I knew that's not what it was because, the symptom when I had the blood clot in my lung wasn't just that I had severe pain in my chest. Hello, sweetheart. Hello, Junior. It was that I couldn't breathe. And I'm not short of breath. Unless I get myself out of breath, like I did just a little bit ago, because I needed to change my sheets because, of course, I think it was Tuesday night was when I had to get up and change pajamas like 5 times during the night because I kept soaking them with sweat, and I hadn't changed my sheets yet, so I thought I need to do that. So I kind of wore myself out doing that. And, but anyway, I thought, well, I don't want to go to the ER. And, yeah, I had a feeling, James, that's what you were talking about. And, but anyway, and I do have lots of friends in Canada, so do send you our love and prayers. But I decided I would try to hold off until this morning, and because I had to get up and go run an errand, mostly for my Aunt Geraldine, and I didn't want to let her down with that, so I did do that this morning early, and I came back, and which I only had to drive less than a mile from my house, and then she lives less than a mile from me, so it wasn't that much. But so I came back home and I called the doctor's office and left them a voicemail telling them what my symptoms were. And by this morning I didn't have a fever. The one thing that I still have the congestion, but now I'm actually, when I do cough now, it's a productive cough. But anyway, called my doctor's office, and they called me back early afternoon, and she asked me a bit more about my symptoms, and she told me that I had every symptom. Funny thing is, though, she did not say COVID. She said, you have every symptom of the bad word that we don't say anymore. She said, do you know what I mean? And I said, of course I know what you mean. And she said, it is on the rise, which everybody knows that. It is on the rise again. Apparently, that didn't stop me from doing anything, like going to Zoe's basketball games or I did not know that, James. I did not know Hawaii was having wildfires. But when she told me that, because Saturday I was supposed to leave and go to Columbus with XT, and I thought, well, if I do a COVID test and it comes back negative and my symptoms are cleared up, then I'd feel comfortable going on to Ohio with XT. But thank you, Smurfette. Thank you. I love that video of yours I saw today. Love you. Love you. Tell DJ Buddy we said hello. And enjoy the putt-putt. Hi, Nick K. Thank you for joining us. But anyway, I thought, if I take a COVID test and it comes back negative, then and my symptoms were gone, I'd feel comfortable going on to Ohio with XT. Well, I took the COVID test and it did not come back negative. And so I called hi, Benson Beal. Hi, George Harley Ryder. Hi, George. Good to see you. Well, now I have COVID, George. George, well, I'm not going to say that. I won't say that, George. But anyway, hi, Ronnie Clark. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, I know. I started to say that, and then I thought, that's not my story to tell. I better not say that. I'm sure I will. George. Hopefully I'm on I hope it's going away. Now, she did tell me that probably last about 5 days, and I've been sick since Monday evening, so I'm hopefully we'll be over it soon. But yeah, but my oxygen level, you know, because my watch, I check that on my watch, and it's, now I did just notice, which I didn't notice when I talked to the doctor, because I told him my heart rate was good, because every time I've checked it, it's been in the 50s, but I just saw where my watch sent me an alarm early this morning that apparently 4 different times my heart rate dropped down to like 39 while I was sleeping, which isn't good. But they don't, anything below 41 is bad. Well, George, I don't think they're going to prescribe that for me, because I've already pretty much gotten through it. I mean, I don't have a fever anymore. I don't have a cough anymore. Still have some congestion in that chest pain is what's worrying me more than anything else. And I've been flat, I've been in bed all week. I did get up and make one video with Junior. I did get up. I was in my pajamas in my bedroom, sitting in my chair, doing that video with Junior. But I did do that. Hi, Queen Bee. Hi there. Thank you for joining us. And I'm trying to think of your name. I think it starts with an A. I'm not. I'm worse than usual right now. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, I know, George. And here was the funny thing. It sort of started to fade away. Hello. Yes, Annette. I knew it started with an A, but Annette. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't remember Annette, because I love that name. I do love the name. Hi, John Christie. But what the weirdest thing about it wasn't just the chest pain. It was that my back, you know, like from my shoulder blades down my back, and I have on pajamas right now. But my, down my back feels like I have a sunburn, or it actually feels more like a rug burn, like to the touch. You know, like how it feels when you touch your skin, how it hurts when you touch a sunburn. That's how my skin felt, and still does on my back. Now that was the symptom when I told her that. That was actually, I think, the symptom that he knew that I had COVID. My doctor told her that he needed to call me, or for her to call me and mention that to me. And but after I got off the phone with her is when I thought, I have to test, because if I test positive, even if I am feeling better, I can't go to Ohio with XT Saturday. And if I tested negative and I'm feeling better, then I could still go. But yeah, I always have somewhat of a brain fog. But yeah, the chest pain has not, it's nothing like it was last night. Last night it was so bad, I really thought I was going to have to go to ER. I really did. But I have been, hi Shelly. But I have been resting. That's all I've been doing. And I told Junior I was going to say that Izzy and I we did a really great video together, and Junior had to barge in and ruin it. I told Junior I was going to say that. If you guys have seen that video, that baby shark thing that I did with Junior's little girl, Izzy. Because we were doing a great video, and then he has to barge in. Oh my God. And ruin it. Oh my God. No, I told him I actually thought that was quite brilliant because I looked at what that sound was actually meant to be used for. That was not it at all. That was his own take on it, which was absolutely brilliant. Hello there, go away. Hello, Joe. Yes, you can join. You may join us, Joe. Yes, you can join. Stop saying that over and over, or you're gonna be asked to. You're gonna be asked to leave, not actually asked. Asked is not the word. Hi, Alex. Alex is. What does that say? I have no idea what that says. So I don't know. Hi, Alex is whatever that says. Oh, okay, good. But anyway, that's okay, Joe. Just don't do those repetitious, that looks a lot like troll behavior, and we don't really do that here. Well, I just swiped off my life onto somebody else's life. Oh my God. And I just noticed that my live was still saying live from Cancun on it for the last 2 weeks that I was not in Cancun. Oh, thank you, go away. I'm always glad to hear that. I always am glad to hear that. I like when people like my content. Oh, thank you, Joe. Thank you. Because I kind of like my content, and it makes me happy when other people like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't put it up there. Well, you can talk to me right here. I know. I just took it down. I just saw it when I was sitting here tonight and took it down. I'm like, I noticed it on the replays because I'm 2 weeks behind with uploading my lives to YouTube. I've got the last 2 weeks that I haven't uploaded yet, but I did see it there. But yeah. So everybody thought we were live from Cancun for the last 2 weeks. Hi, Trudy. Hi, Trudy. But so anyway, no trip to Ohio with it. I hated so bad to call her and tell her that, because last year she drove me all the way to Louisville to get on the plane to go to Punta Cana with Alexis and them. This year she drove me all the way to Columbus to get on the plane to go to Cancun with them. And now this was a trip I was going with her just for her. And I have to not be able to, I cannot stand to not be able to do what I say I will do. If I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I will do it come hell or high water. And I had every intention of still going with her on Saturday. I was going to suck it up and go with her. Probably wear a mask. But then because COVID never even crossed my mind. I've gotten through all this time. Now I have all my shots and my boosters and have all of that. And I've gotten this far. And it's not because I haven't been tested. Every time I get the sniffles, my doctor sends me for a COVID test. And I've done a couple at home even. Never once have I tested positive for COVID. All this time. And now, here it is. Unbelievable. But that never even entered my mind. And once they said that to me on the phone today, I knew I had to test, because I couldn't take the chance and go with her and me with COVID. But anyway, thank you for joining us, Manny. You guys already have us up to 723 likes, but anyway, so I am hopefully on the mend. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any idea. I hear, so many. Yes, Trudy, I do. Hi, Bobby. Hi, Bobby Flowers. Hi there. Thank you for joining us. Yes, Trudy, that's what's wrong with me. But I'll be fine. I don't know what that means, go away. Sunset in Cancun was good. I don't know what you're saying there, go away. Well, they're not really doing anything for me because I think I'm already getting over it on my own. I don't have a fever anymore. I don't have a cough anymore. And when I do cough, it is productive and they're not going to give me drugs if I'm already getting over it on my own, because I don't do well with a lot of drugs, and so he's not going to give me drugs if it's not necessary. Yeah, as far as I know. Now, Zion was sick too, but Whitney took Zion to the doctor on Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday. She took Zion to the doctor, and because he had a little rash on his ankles, well, so did I, because the neighbor's dog came over. Now, Zach's dog, Bear, when I was over there Saturday, I guess it was Saturday, because see, Alexis and Michael and Carter were here from Ohio over the weekend. And, but Zach's dog, Bear, was laying all over me. We were outside in Zach's shop, and Bear is an outside dog. But I never got a flea bite from him. Well, when we were out there, Sunday, when we were there Sunday, the neighbor's dog came over, and I was throwing a stick with the neighbor's dog, and I started feeling my ankles itching, and I had flea bites, which I'm allergic to. But anyway, she took Zion to the doctor. Hi, Liz. Hi, Liz. She took Zion to the doctor, and they said, but it was because he had a headache and was throwing up. They told her he was having a migraine, which I know 8 years old sounds young for migraines, but not in my family. I had migraines from the time I was probably 4 or 5 years old. Before I started to school, I had migraines. But, hi, Jim Lowry. I know somebody named Jim Lowry. Just can't right now think of who it was. Who it is. Sounds like somebody I worked with at Abrasive, actually. Jim Lowry. Shelly, is Shelly here? Shelly, does that name sound familiar to you? But anyway, they said he had flea bite. She was afraid it was like poison ivy, because we've already figured out he's allergic to bee stings, like his grandma. And hi, Crystal Lynn, 1985. But you guys have us up to 1,200 likes. But anyway, so Zion was sick, but he didn't have COVID. He had flea bites and a migraine, which isn't good. But anyway, but nobody else has been sick. So, I don't know. Hello, Shelly. Oh, who got the number? Oh, Liz, you got the #1 glitter badge. But yeah, They are reluctant to give me 10 days from today because I just tested today. So 10 days from today. So I sent Whitney a text and asked her if when she goes to the Walmart, yes, Junior, the Walmart, when she goes to the Walmart, if she will bring me some half and half, because that's what I'm going to be out of half and half tonight. Now I'll make sure I always say that, Junior, but you know what? I am pretty sure that in the text, I did not write the Walmart. I may say the Walmart, but I don't write the Walmart. You should let Izzy be here with us, Junior, so I can talk to Izzy. Hi, honeybee. I'm now Izzy's. Izzy is my favorite TikToker now. You're gonna have to look. You can't look at a text I sent to Whitney, and if you can, we got a problem. You went there today. Hello there, honeybee. I like that name. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I keep going to this other person that I don't even know's live. Hello. But actually, and this isn't, oh my head, this isn't actually a particularly pleasant topic. And actually, I gotta tell you, the main reason that I did my live tonight was because I think the show just dropped today. I'm not sure, but I think it just dropped on Netflix. It's a one of those limited series. It's 6 parts, and it is not a documentary. And most of the time, when I tell you guys about things, I'm telling you about documentaries, and I know documentaries are not everybody's. Not everybody is a documentary junkie like I am. And some people don't like documentaries. And this has nothing to do with COVID. Has nothing whatsoever to do with COVID. I make snickerdoodles and sweet tea all the time. Thank you very much. And Junior, I was going to tell you that, I don't know, but I think you may have thought I would use my copy of Plague Dogs for the Penny character, but the Penny character would not be reading Plague Dogs. The Penny character is street smart, not book smart. She would not be reading the Plague Dogs. That's why I had a copy of Vogue. That's the only reason, because at first I thought, oh, I should be reading my copy of the Plague Dogs. And then I thought, no, that would be out of character. That would not be true to the character. So I went with that. Not to mention that book's kind of heavy. And I didn't have a lot of strength. and I didn't know if I could hold that heavy book. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Brenda. I can't see. Something's wrong with my vision, actually. Hi, Brenda. I can't see the rest of it. Brenda Rhodes. Hi, Brenda Rhodes. Sorry, I can't see. I think I got the wrong glasses, probably. But, oh, American history documentaries. Well, this is some American history. Now, for any of you, like Shelley and Diane, who have been with me for any length of time, I have told this story before about when I decided I wanted to leave the company that Shelley and I worked for, or Shelley still works for. That's why I won't say the name. But when I decided I wanted to, actually I knew that I wanted to go into sales. Actually, I wanted to go to work for a marketing company. Is what I originally wanted to do, and I'd been with that company, which is a very specific industry. It's in the diamond tooling industry, and so I didn't really have, you know, I had transferable experience, but I couldn't stay in that industry. That would not, there's like non-compete. I could not stay in that industry. Not that I wanted to. Plus, it was kind of an old boys network, and they would not have, there were no women salesmen in that industry back then. And I had no interest in being the first one. So anyway, I had done that enough. I didn't need to be another first. And anyway, I have no idea, Phil. You'd have to give me the name of the documentary. I've seen so many documentaries that I have forgotten that I don't know. But anyway, when I left there, I went to a career transition specialist because I had never had a sales job before, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I went, and I can say her name. She's probably maybe still in business. She may have retired by now. Her name is Celia Crosley, and her company was Celia Crosley and Associates, and she did a lot of testing and told me what industry I should go into to make the most money. And she told me that I should go into pharmaceutical sales. And now this was 21 years ago. And see, I'd already been with this diamond tooling company for 14 years. And that was most of my experience. I had been an electronics technician. I had been a seamstress. Because when Zach and Alexis were little, when they were babies, that's what I did. I stayed home and did alterations. But anyway, kind of a diverse thing. But anyway, she told me that by my tests, that's where I would make the most money, was in pharmaceutical sales. Well, even 21 years ago, what I said to her was I would rather stand on a street corner and sell crack than to do that. Actually, I think a crack dealer has more integrity. And for anybody that does that for a living, I apologize to you that you do that for a living, but I will not apologize for my opinion about that. And used to, I didn't have any point of reference without going into a long, drawn-out dissertation to tell you why that is my opinion. Now, all I have to do, because it's not a documentary, so more people will watch this, and I'm glad they did this, because there is a documentary. It's called the Crime of the Century or something. And this was my opinion of them even 25 years ago, probably. It's called Painkiller, and it's a limited series, 6 episodes on Netflix. I think it may have just dropped today. I didn't see it on there yesterday, and trust me, I've been watching a lot of Netflix. Yes, I have seen Catch 22. I have read Catch 22. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I've seen that or not. Depends on what it was on. But yes, I know Catch-22. I mean, if you're talking about, I can't even think who wrote Catch-22. That's how bad my memory is. Because that is something I know. Our writers, actors, movies, directors, musicians, those are things I know. I'm like a savant of that. Yes, I comprehend Catch-22. Yes, I do. I know what a Catch-22 is. You're between a rock and a hard place. In fact, where that came from was World War II? World War II, I think. Fighter pilots. That you were they were in a Catch-22 because if they, how was it? If they didn't want to fly a mission, you knew they were sane. If they did want to fly a mission, you knew they were crazy. It was something to do with that, but I can't remember exactly. Normally I would remember that, not today. Hi Jack Newcomb, thank you for joining us. But anyway, a Catch-22 is between a rock and a hard place. So yes, I do understand what a Catch-22 is. Anyway, but it was something about fighter pilots, and I think that was what I just said was pretty close to it. But so anyway, the reason, I don't have to explain my reason anymore for saying that about pharmaceutical sales. And because I don't have a good thing to say about any of them. And I know people who are in pharmaceutical sales that I did think were good people until they started doing that for a living. And then I didn't think that about them anymore. Hi, Maurice. And then they also did other things that showed me they were not good people. So I think I was right. Well, thank you, Jack Newcomb. I'm just fine, other than the fact that I have COVID right now. Okay, Phil, I'll take your word for that. But anyway, again, Diane, do you mind typing that? That won't get us in trouble, will it? But it's called Painkiller, and it is a 6-part limited series on Netflix. Just dropped today. I'm on episode 4 right now, and it is just, and sometime I will tell you, sometime not today. Thank you, Diane. So anybody who didn't hear what I said, my moderator Diane has typed it for you, so you can cut and paste that or do a screen capture and save that, because I'm going to be talking more about that, not today, because I'm not going to stay on here much longer. That is why I think crack, and the reason that I think crack dealers had more, crack is way gone. Thanks to the pharmaceutical industry, crack is no longer a big thing. That's not the big thing anymore. But what was I saying? Anyway, I will talk to you about why I thought that 21 years ago. And the reason I think they had more integrity, at least they weren't misrepresenting their product. You know? Hi, Demon Omega. Hi. So good to see you. Hi, Helen Bottomley. Thank you for joining us. I think I've known somebody with the last name Bottomley before. I don't know where. It could be a character in a book. I don't know. Jenny would speak in Pennsylvania. And we don't really talk about political things here, unless I want to talk about one. Because what I'm talking about right now is kind of political. But yeah, and my opinion that allowing pharmaceutical companies to advertise is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of. And they talk about lowering the price of drugs in this country. That's all they'd have to do is overturn the law that back in 80s, I think it early 80s, that the law that they changed that allowed hospitals and clinics and pharmaceutical companies to advertise. That should go away. That should absolutely go away. And if that went away, so yeah, that's the kind of political thing that I talk about, because that never changes. I don't need to watch the news to know that that is still true. And every time I watch Hulu, because I don't watch Hulu very often, so I only have the Hulu that's got limited commercials. Every time I watch Hulu, I am reminded of that. And that's all I see are pharmaceutical commercials. And they have gotten more and more and more outlandish. I mean, it's ridiculous. And anyway. Oh, that's great, Demon Omega. That's great. That's great. You can type in the name of your podcast here if you want to, for anybody that does podcasts or that listens to podcasts. I used to watch podcasts once in a while. I haven't done that for a long time. Usually, only time I did it was when somebody brought one to my attention that I might want to watch. The Graveyard. The Graveyard. And where do we watch that podcast? It's oh, I might like that. I like the paranormal. I do like the paranormal. Demon Omega, have you ever heard of Lilydale, New York? And that's not really, it is sort of paranormal. It is kind of paranormal. Have you ever heard of Lilydale, New York? Yes, well, I've been to Lilydale, New York. There was a documentary done on HBO called No One Dies in Lilydale. And one of my friends, I saw the documentary, and then one of my friends, we ended up going there anyway. Yeah, I completely disagree with you, Philly. So we're not going to really discuss that, because we do not, there is no political discussion here. If I say something political, that's fine. Guess what? Because it's my live. But we don't really have those discussions, and I'm not going to debate that with you. Not going to happen. Oh, that's great, Demon Omega. But anyway, yeah, I saw that we saw that documentary, and we went there. You can look that up if you haven't seen the documentary, No One Dies in Lilydale. I think you can watch it on YouTube for free, actually. It was an HBO documentary originally. You can watch it on HBO Max. You can watch it on there. I remember it was on there. What, Shelley? And it is the border anyhow? Oh. I don't really care about the border. That is the least of our problems. By a long shot. But anyway, what is it? I want to see what that said again. Yeah. I see why you said that, Shelley. That's funny. Typical. Oh my god. Oh my god, I'm not gonna say any more about it. But anyway, what was I saying? But Demon Omega, you can watch that if you haven't seen it before. And actually, two of the mediums, John, I can't remember his last name, and I can't remember the woman's name, but two of the mediums that are in that documentary, I actually had a reading with them, and that was really quite interesting. I feel really weak and tired. That's the worst. I'm so weak. That's probably, I mean, fortunately, fortunately, when picked up, I had to go pick up some stuff for my aunt Geraldine, and fortunately, I already, even with having a cold, and I mean, she's in her late 70s, I think. Okay, she's in her early to mid 70s. She's like 10 or 11 years older than me, I think. I don't remember. She's my dad's baby sister. He had twin sisters. They're the only ones that were younger than my dad. But anyway, they're actually the only one of my dad's family that are left, other than nieces and nephews. But anyway, fortunately, I just had her get the stuff out of my trunk herself, and I didn't go in her house, because usually I go in and sit and have coffee with her for a while, and I didn't do that today because I told her, I said, that was before my doctor called me back and before I did the test, but I told her, I said, you don't want what I've got. And was the reading accurate? Oh, actually, honeybee, it was astonishing, to tell you the truth. It was actually, and I have it on tape. They record a cassette tape of it. I was actually kind of blown away by it, to tell you. And I was actually, when we first got there, because there's this stump. There's this big, huge stump. I mean, it's like a tree stump that's almost as big round as my living room. And it has been there since it's been there since before the 1800s. But that tree was cut down, and there's a big clearing in the forest. This is in New York. It's up by Lake Chautauqua. But anyway, and it was the first electrified city, because Thomas Edison went there frequently, and it was the first electrified city in the United States. But they called it the City of Lights. But it's just a small gated community, and only mediums live there. And anyway, what was I saying? Oh. Tape recordings. I have no idea. But yeah, it was I was kind of blown away by it. And even later on, like when I listened to the tape again, I was like, oh my God. In fact, that has been about 10 or 12 years ago that I went there. You'd have to look and see when that documentary was done, because we went there a few months after that documentary was released on HBO. Um, just a year or two ago, something about that reading struck me that didn't even strike me when I first heard it. The big tree, the stump. Well, mediums have been giving, because Lilydale, New York is the birthplace of spiritualism. And this isn't actually something that I'm particularly into. I mean, I'm fascinated. I'm absolutely. Bye, Trudy. Bye, Trudy. Love you. Love you. Thank you for stopping by. It is. Hi, Jim from Central New York. I'm talking about New York. I'm talking about Lilydale, New York, Jim. It isn't something that I've always been fascinated by, not something I'm particularly into. I didn't go there for me. I actually went there because I was invited to go there. Hello there, sweetie. But anyway, birthplace of spiritualism. It's where the concept of people actually being able to communicate with the dead. It's where that concept originated. I don't know that that's where it originated, period, in all of history. I'm sure that concept existed before. But, there's a whole story about it. There's a museum there. It's the reason that during the 1800s and the 1850s, I think, that seances and spirit paintings and all of that kind of stuff, it's the reason that was so popular. It started there in Lilydale, and there's a whole story, and I'm not going to go into the whole. You can look it up and find out what the story of how it started and everything, or watch that documentary. But they have been giving readings from that stump since the 1800s. It's also the home of the first ever official pet cemetery. The oldest pet cemetery is there. And they now do readings. Now, they don't get on the stump anymore. They actually have that kind of roped off because, it's very old. And, but they do group readings. And I will tell you specifics about this when we got there. There was one funny thing that happened, but when we were sitting there listening to the medium who was just talking to probably 150 people, and I kind of look at the odds, a numeric calculation of how likely something is to happen. Well, the medium that was talking started saying, someone is here with me now, and I think she is somebody's grandmother, and she died something about her head, but it wasn't an injury. It wasn't like a head injury, but it was something with her head. And she said, and she's here with somebody named Maggie and somebody named Ethel. And I'm sitting there thinking, because my grandmother died from an aneurysm, and my grandmother and I were very, very close. In fact, I knew that my grandmother died before anybody told me. and she lived 5.5 hours from me, and I didn't even know anything was wrong with her because they intentionally didn't tell me, because my grandmother died 10 days before Alexis was born, and I had very high risk pregnancy, so they were not going to tell me that. Anyway, and my grandmother's mother's name was Maggie, and my grandfather's sister, who my grandmother was very close to, his name was Ethel. And I thought, okay, what are the odds? My grandmother died of an aneurysm, which is a head thing, but not an injury. Her mother's name is Maggie. Two people's names, so now there's 3 things. And then she said that my grandmother, and this was right after Brad had passed away, Diane, I think he had been gone about, if I'm not mistaken, about 18 months. And she said that she wanted me to know. I mean, the woman still, I haven't said anything yet. I'm sitting there and haven't said a word yet. And I was sitting on the front row out of these 150 or 200 people, because the person I was with wanted to sit on the front row. And anyway, I kept thinking, oh, and then finally I looked at the person I was with and I said, I think she's talking about my grandmother. And she said, you need to raise your hand, because nobody else had raised their hand. So I raised my hand, and the woman started telling me that my grandmother just wanted me to, because I did, all after my grandmother passed away when I was 24. Let's see, she died in 1984, so I was 23, 24 years old. Actually, I would have been 23. And yeah, because it was 10 days before Alexis was born. And I talked to her in my head all the time. Always did. And I hadn't done that for a long time. I actually hadn't done that since even before Brad died. And she said that she just wanted me to know that I hadn't talked to her for a long time and that she was still there anytime I needed her. And that rang very true to me. And it was actually, I was a little shocked by that. And there was a couple of other things that happened, but when I went to the mediums, and I didn't, because, I'm skeptical, I didn't say a word. I didn't say one word to them. I didn't say, because I didn't really go there for that. I was going because I was invited to go, and while I'm there, yeah, I would love to have that experience. So I never said boo to them. I did have a package that was wrapped up like a gift, so you couldn't even see what was in the package. And I'm not going to go into what that was right now. It's too long a story. But I never said word one to them. And both of them started talking about people in my life. I didn't tell them if I had children. I never said a word to them. And the first man that I talked to, he knew I had 4 children. He didn't name them by name, but he said, and I had 3 daughters, and then my youngest child is my son. He said, I see a girl. And I didn't acknowledge anything that he said. I just sat there like a bump on a log. And he said, I see a girl. And then he proceeded to name personality traits of my oldest daughter. Then he said, I see another girl. Told me things about her. Then my youngest daughter. and told me, he said 3 girls and named traits of each one of them, and then a boy. And named very kind of specific things about him. And that was actually, how would he know I had 3 girls and a boy? I don't know, I don't have a clue how he knew that. I mean, I don't know, what did he know he knew my name before I came there. I guess he could have looked me up on Facebook or something. He could have. I mean, I don't know that he did that, but he could have. But they're not really like that. They don't really seem to. They're not into the theatrics of it, I don't think. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, but they're kind of the real deal, because most of them are like second and third generation mediums. They didn't just get into this on a whim. I mean, there was the one woman that I saw, I think she's like third generation. Her grandmother, her great, all the way back to her great grandmother were mediums. And so they're kind of, I don't know if there is a real deal, but I was impressed. I mean, and they've been doing this for a long time, probably since before the internet started. So it was very interesting, and that documentary is really interesting. But I think I am probably gonna go. I don't know who is still here, but Shelly is still here, and Jim from Central New York is still here. Jim, how close are you to Lilydale? Do you know Lilydale? Lilydale's about 30 minutes drive, but I have no idea what direction from Lake Chautauqua, because we actually went to Lake Chautauqua a couple of times. One night we went there and heard Salman Rushdie speak. That was really interesting. Honeybee is still here. But yeah, sorry there, Demon Omega. I think Demon Omega left. Oh, thank you, Honeybee. But, yeah, don't forget, because I am going to be talking about that. If I weren't so tired and sick, I actually, when I started watching this series today, I've been watching it since this morning, kind of on and off. But if I hadn't, after I started watching that, I thought, now I have a context to tell a story that I've talked, Diane, I've talked about Brad many times, and you know how he died, but I've never discussed really the details surrounding that, because it's too hard to get in. I mean, it's a very in-depth thing to understand, but that series, because that would allow me to say, if you watch this, then I have like a point, a place to start with it. Yeah, and it's, my God, I can't tell you how many times today I have had to, like, why am I doing this to myself? As bad as I feel, why am I doing this? But it was meant to be, Diane, because I saw it, and it was like I was compelled. And I don't usually do that. I'm not into the self-torture. I was absolutely compelled to watch it, and I think it may be because Tuesday night I actually took some NyQuil, the little pill things, and I can't do that again because I had the most vivid dreams, and they were so real all night. And that is the first time in 15 years I have dreamed about Brad. And it was so real, it was frightening. A few months after he died, I had this very short little dream about him that I actually thought was reality. I thought it was real, and I had just woken up from a nightmare. But anyway, that's the only time. And then Tuesday night. And that may be why I was like compelled to watch it. Because I knew what it was going to be about. But anyway. Oh, you're closer to Syracuse? Yeah, I know you said, and I don't know New York. I mean, I really don't. I don't know New York. Diane knows New York. Diane is originally from Manhattan, right, Diane? Hi, Debbie62. But, yeah. And I've been by myself. Since the kids left on Monday, because I got sick Monday night. So I've been by myself. I've talked to a couple people on the phone. Yeah. But anyway. And I did make 2 videos. I have made 2 videos since last Thursday. I made that baby shark one with Junior's little girl that he abruptly ruined, as I said. And then I did that Big Bang Theory thing with him yesterday. I got up out of bed in my pajamas, brushed my hair, because I went to bed with my hair wet, and I don't think I had brushed it. But yeah, I am gonna drink some tea. I'm finishing up my coffee because I kept thinking, oh my God, I'm getting this headache because I haven't drank my coffee. I didn't realize I had a headache because I have COVID. But I really am feeling better. If this pain in my chest, it's actually not as bad. It's not as bad. And it may be because I'm setting up. And I got my bed all changed. The only thing I got left to wash is my comforter. And I think I already pulled out a different blanket to put on my bed so that I don't have to worry about that. Because that wears me out too. And I'm sure somebody will go to the store for me. Or I could have stuff delivered, because I probably need enough stuff. I may just do that and have them deliver it. Hi, Dennis M. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. I keep going into somebody else's live by accident. But anyway, and I did change my setup tonight, and I don't know if I said that I did that because I know I can't talk very loud, so I wanted the phone to be closer to me so that you could see that I don't have my makeup on. Oh my God, no, that's not why I did it. That does not look better close up. But anyway, I just didn't have the strength for that. I love y'all. Love you, Diane, and thank you so much. And you'll know when I'm feeling better because I've got... Oh, here, I'll show you my feet. There, everybody can get their fill of my feet. but yeah, but hopefully I will be back in swing next week. I may have to. Thank you. These I actually have worn to Zoe's basketball tournaments before, because I'm like, if they're going to make me move in here, because we were there all day, remember when they were having those tournaments? I'm like, if they're going to make me move in here, I'm going to be comfortable. And then it was funny, because then my cousins, Addie and Aiden and them and Taryn, they all had their house slippers on. I'm like, well, my God, I'm right in I'm trendy. But yeah, that's why I have these. That if I need to go somewhere like that, I can just wear these. But anyway, I forget what I was getting ready to say, but you'll know if when I'm doing better, because I've got a couple of easy duets that I have to do with Junior. What is one? One of them is, I can't even remember what they are. One of them is something about, it's some married couple arguing or something. I don't know. I can't remember. No, it's something, oh, it's about when we, being wild when we get old, or something like that. And then the other one is some American-made song. I don't know the name of the song. But anyway, so I have those two duets to do, and duets are easier for me to do, so I will probably do those first. And I have like 3 or 4 songs that I want to do, but I don't know how long it'll be before I'm able to do that. I know I will not be doing any videos standing up for a while. But that's no great loss. And I stayed on almost the whole time. I think this was good for me. Love y'all. And I'm going to do my thing. Like I always say, I want this to be your favorite TT show every Thursday night. So I'll see you next week. Same time, same station. Love y'all. Bye-bye. And I gotta figure out how to turn it off.